Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to get Dan Garber back on the channel. He's now 6 wins with 3 defeats. He's boxing in, I think it's is it May the 5th or May the 4th?
May the 4th.
May the 4th, in Bradford. And yes, pleasure getting you on as always, Dan.
Yeah, thanks. So back out, a quick turnaround. Obviously, we're boxing May the 4th in Bradford. I'm actually with a new trainer now as well. So it'll be our first fight together. I'm training with a guy called Femi Fentola. Femi as a professionally boxed Carl Janssen, fought British title and the former English champion himself. Got to 2 ABA finals as an amateur boxer as well. So knows his stuff. So I'll be training with Femi and also my uncle, Steve Garber. He's going to be having a lot of input now into it as well. So we're going tomorrow. We're sparring Yui Fury tomorrow down in Cheshire. So that'll be good to get some rounds in with him. They asked us to go down, so we'll see where we are. Obviously, you know, he's a talent. He's boxing on, I think it's the 20th of April against a Ukrainian guy. So he's got a tough fight there. So yeah, it's just putting into practice now what me and Femi have been doing, and obviously with input from my uncle. So we want to stay busy. So like I say, I'm looking to box May the 4th in Bradford, then we're looking to get out again in June, and then we're back in Bradford then in July. And then fingers crossed, we've already spoke to him about a fight on Sky with an opponent. Won't say his name on here, obviously, but fingers crossed that gets done then for August, September time.
But before we get into your fight in Bradford and stuff, talk about the Moses Itauma fight that you took on 4 days notice. It was a bit of a faulty stoppage in the first round. Just talk us, yeah.
Well, yeah, basically, that fight basically it first got mentioned after I boxed in Bradford against Joe Nakavulu, I think his last name is.
Macalouve,
Uh,
yeah.
that's the guy. So it first got mentioned a week after that. Now they offered us an amount of money, and I instantly just says no. I said I was totally honest. I said, look, I said it's a dangerous fight. That I said for that kind of money, I said he's too good. It was less money than what I got for Tom Carty over in Dublin. Now I think I've said before, you know, I rate Tom Carty. I think he's a great fighter.
Yeah.
But I think that I said about this Itauma, who I've known about him for a couple of years. I think he's going to be special. So I turned the fight down. I says no. Now they asked me what I wanted for the fight, so I gave them a figure, and they actually laughed at us. I says no way we're going to pay that. So I said well that's fine. I said I don't particularly want. I don't particularly want that fight at the moment for that kind of money. I said if the money's right, I said I'll fight anybody. But I just said we'll leave it, and obviously I'll go a different avenue.
And it came
So
up again on, I think, maybe it was the Sunday, I think you said, or Monday,
yeah,
I can't remember.
so obviously they were fighting on the Friday. I got a call. It was basically Saturday evening off my manager. Said, look, BT have come back again, or TNT Sports it's called now. They've come back again. They couldn't get a visa for his European opponent that they had. It had fallen through. So they weren't going to get a visa in a space of a few days. Now there was no one else in country willing to take it. Obviously I've looked at my record and seen that I'd went 8 rounds with Tom Carty on a big show. So obviously they get me in, do what they do. Obviously it looks good, do you know what I mean, for him, in a way. So they offered me an amount again. I said no, turned it down. Then they offered me the amount that I'd originally asked for,
Mm.
and I said no. I said not on like I say
On
five. I
four
said I
days
was not.
notice, because that was
Yeah.
a few
So we
weeks
left.
notice, that one.
So we left it. I didn't think it was going to happen. So I'm always ticking over, you know, training wise. But I'd just been on holiday to Italy, been on a stag do with my sister's partner. I was ticking over there, you know, running and stuff. But I wanted any kind of fight camp, you know, no sparring, no nothing like that. I'm really been. I was doing my own stuff really, waiting for a fight date, obviously. So got to Sunday. They offered, like I say, they offered that amount. Then it got to Monday. Now, you might have seen an article that went on the internet where it said that I'd turned 6 different offers down to
I think
fight this.
I swear they got that from our interview or something because we were talking about it, and I swear it came out like the day after or maybe the day before, some around the same time we done an interview.
Yeah, it might have been from that. So that had come out, but it got to Monday, and they offered like 3 or 4 different amounts. Basically, they started. They were trying to get me to accept an amount, and then offering me a ticket deal. And we were like, well, who's going to sell tickets in space of 4 days for London? Do you know,
Mm.
people aren't going to come down from where I live and book hotels, etc., and things like that. So basically, they offered us an amount that I thought, yeah, I'm not going to say no to that. So I took the fight. Spoke to my manager. He came down with me. My uncle come down with me as well, and we knew what we were up against. You know, he's been in camp since December.
Yeah, yeah.
But I honestly thought, like I said, I probably 8 rounds is a long time. I mean, like I said, for Tom Carty, I was training twice a day for a good 6 weeks. I had the notice for Tom Carty, totally different to this. So I went down there, and I knew basically to get well, it would have 1 in 100 yards to look at the odds with bookies. I mean, he were 100 to 1 on to beat me. So I knew that I had to get lucky basically to land a shot basically to have any chance of getting a win down there. But it was to go down there basically and try and last some of the rounds basically. So we went down there on Thursday, did the weighing, etc. And then, like I say, went out for something to eat. Me and my uncle had a chat about it, what we were going to try implement in fight, etc. Went and had a look around the venue actually on, I think it was on the day of the fight. The day before. Went on the Thursday evening to have a look at the venue, just to get a feel for it. So yeah, I wasn't nervous or out like that. There were no time to be nervous, So there were, like I said, I'd gone down there with no one were
No
expecting
pressure.
any, not at all. I'm not on 4 days notice. No, nobody wanted to take it. Nobody wanted to take it. But I've always said, me, show me a pound sign, and if it's big enough, I'll fight anybody.
Mm.
3 days notice, 4 days notice, and I'll always have a go. Yeah, so I went down there, did the weighing, etc. Like I was saying, got to fight night, felt all right. We warmed up. I'd met Moses beforehand. I had a little chat with him. Seemed a nice guy, to be fair. And got in ring, and obviously did as an instructions, and bell went. I came out jabbing, and don't get me wrong, you fast, very very fast. It's shots you don't see coming, and 2 southpaws as well. But I think he hit me in flush in first 45 seconds or something. Really did hit me flush, and it wasn't I wouldn't say it wasn't the weight of the shot, it was the speed of the shot, and it's the shots that you don't see coming. The them ones that do the damage kind of thing. With Tom Carty were really heavy-handed.
Yeah.
I could see his shots coming, but Tom is heavy-handed. With Moses, it was the speed. But I say I could see Tom's punches coming. Like I said, I had 6 weeks to prepare for it, so you're sharp, etc. It's sparring and stuff like that. But I think he caught me 2 or 3 times, but I held my ground when he hit me, and it's quite a small ring at York Hall. So he was cutting ring off, and like he was walking me down, but I was coming off the ropes, and I've like I said, we watched the videos, and I'm still firing back.
Mm.
I think there was 28 seconds or something left in round, and
In the moment, did you just think I've got to throw fire with fire here,
but
or
that was it. It was just, because I thought when he first caught me, I thought he threw a jab. Sorry, he threw a jab, and I took it on my hands really. But
mm.
I could feel the weight of the force, and I thought, he's carrying a bit, this kid here. So I thought I'd have to be a bit wary. After he caught me, that's when you'll see on video. I looked down at canvas, and I'm getting my bearings basically when I've done that. When I've done that, because it stunned me a little bit. So in the last 30 seconds, 30 seconds or so at rounds, I'm on ropes, but I'm coming back with hooks. I'm firing back with him. He's
Mm,
firing back. And then he catches me with one left hand. When he catches me, he throws a few flurries in. But I'm catching the shots like that. I'm moving
mm.
my head side to side, and the referee just jumps in, and you'll see my reaction. You were there yourself anyway.
Yeah, yeah,
You saw his reaction. We were both like,
yeah.
what is that? And I was fuming, to be honest with you, and I wanted to get through a few rounds with him.
And
And I
there
actually
was
got
only there was not even long in that round left to
that's what I
go.
think there were like 20 seconds or something to go in the round. Don't get me wrong, I know he stopped five in I think five of his opponents. He stopped him first round, but when he stopped them, they've been flat out on the backs, kind of thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah. And
it's
like on wobbly legs, sort of.
yeah, he's put them to sleep. Whereas, well, you saw me, we met after the fight.
You
You know, there
you
wasn't a
still
mark on,
standing?
there were no mark on my face. You know, yeah, I was gutted with it. I know people were giving me like Steve Bunce had a word with me, and you know, no one had any bad words to say about me who were there. They're all like, you know, you took some shots flush there, you didn't back down, etc. But it was more my pride really that were hurt on the night, uh, because when I fought, like I say, I'll go back to Dublin. When I fought Tom, at least Tom Carty put me down, and I was quite bust up in that fight. But I
And
still
that
wanted
was
to catch.
another fight where you could have easily seen that. I mean,
I could have, yeah,
still to this day, I feel that you could have saw the final bout. I don't think you would have got the decision, but
no,
I
but
thought you
I
would
would have
have.
seen it out. You know, it'd have been nice to go the
Yeah,
distance. I think there were 30 seconds left in that fight, and again there were 30
it
seconds
might
left
have
in
been
this round.
20, but yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, I were I were a bit deflated with it, and then I got a message off somebody who was down there, who worked with the promoters,
yeah.
basically saying it was worst stoppage he's ever seen in 10 years. Uh, you know, there were videos going about on the internet even saying, "Oh, it's a fix and stuff like that." Is this fight? But obviously, don't get me wrong, he would have beat me. There's no two ways about that. He probably could have taken me out at any time if he really wanted to and put his foot down. I'm not disputing that for 1 minute because, you know, I rate him that highly. And I think Moses I'd seen what he put basically before somebody, he did an interview and the interviewer said to him, "Oh, Dan rates you as the third best heavyweight in the country apart from Fury and Joshua." And I
Mm.
do. I've heard all the stories about the top boys is sparring. I've heard what he did to Joseph Parker in sparring. And Moses says, well, he's fighting me. He shouldn't be saying stuff like that. But he also has to remember that I, I took it at such short notice. There was no preparation for it. I
Yeah,
was
and
just
you're
ticking
allowed
up.
to rate the opponent who you're
Of course you
fighting.
are. When somebody's that good, I won't going to go there and say this and that. You know, I'm not going to go down and say, oh look, I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It's not me. I'm not like that. When we were in Dublin, I know me and Tom Carty had a bit of back and forth and stuff at the weigh-in.
Yeah, yeah, the press
But
of them.
but when I went there, I was confident. You know, I did go there thinking, oh, I might be able to spring an upset here. But I'm not gonna lie, I went down there and I knew I knew what we were going for. Uh, Basically, I'm not gonna lie. You know, I couldn't turn the money down that they offered me, but I did want to go the rounds. And
So were you
if
just trying to set up one like shot, sort
well,
of?
yeah, I think you've probably seen that video that's on my social media. Probably that somebody put up basically asking why did this fight get stopped. And if you watch the video, when he's coming in, I'm kind of bouncing off the ropes and throwing the right up to step in to try catch him with it. But it judged it, don't get me wrong, he had a good sense of judgment. You know, he'd step back and he was stepping in so quick.
Do you
Uh,
feel like you could have gone a few more rounds with him?
I
Um,
reckon like when I got out of that ring and got checked by a doctor, there wasn't a single mark on my face. You know, I mean, he caught me flush, but he caught me on the temple. And then he caught me once on the chin, but there were no damage whatsoever to me.
mm,
And I would have been confident of going 3 or 4 rounds with him. I didn't have 8 rounds in me. but I would have been confident of doing that. But my trainer even said, well, my manager, should I say, because he was the one doing my corner. He said, if you get in any kind of trouble in this fight, he said, I'm gonna throw the towel in. You know, he said, look, you've had you've had no real preparation. This kid's been busy. He's in the gym. You know, he's really on it.
Is it to
He's gonna
be the
fight.
next youngest world champion as well?
Well, yeah, I could. I don't know about being the youngest world champion. I think that's going to be hard for him to do in a year's time, to be honest with you, because he's got to work his way up and get that kind of shot.
I mean, he's got another fight coming up in, I think it's May on the Fury Usyk card.
Yeah, but I think he's better than the guy. Don't get me wrong, the guy's record looks great on paper, but he hadn't boxed for a year, and then he was coming off a loss against. To say I think he's had 28 fights, won 25 of them, but he's then been beat by a guy with the same record as me, who was 6-3 in his last fight. Well, so he's just had a comeback fight last month, a pretty easy win, I think, against a journeyman, should I say. But he's probably going to bomb him out. If he wants to fight for a world title, which he could do.
Maybe fight for an English or something.
Well, they've already nominated him to fight Solomon Dakers for his English title. He can't even fight for a British title yet, because you've got to be 21 to fight for the British title.
Oh, do you? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you've got to be 21 before you can contest a British title, but you can fight for a world title at any age. It's a strange rule. But they're going to fast track him because he's fighting for a WBC youth for international title in his next fight. So I think he's good enough to fight for him, but obviously you've got Usyk, who's a champion, and I think Uzyk's obviously at a different level, but Uzyk's he's not going to be around for much longer. He's 37.
Same with Fury and
Fury's
AJ
36 in August. AJ said he's got 2 years left. This kid's only going to be 21, so there's no rush with him. All them belts will be coming vacant. You know, I think it'll be Moses, Dubois, and Jared Anderson.
Do you think Wardley could get in that mix as well?
After watching his last, no. I think he's got potential, but I don't think he's as good as them guys.
As of yet.
As of yet, yeah. But that's the background that them guys have obviously got. I think Wardley's nearly 30. Now, Clark surprised me a bit on the night, to be honest with you. And he were unlucky not to get the decision. And he got the knockdown against him. He got a point deducted. But I think a lot of people are, because Wardley's, I think what his strength and attributes are, he's really athletic. You know, he's explosive. He can be doing nothing around, and all of a sudden, like when he put him down, he can just throw 5 or 6, really hard, fast punches from nowhere. But that Moses, it's just like I say, he's a freak of nature. You know, he's got everything.
So, would you say his speed was his power, or would you just say maybe his timing?
It was speed and timing. Speed and timing of the shot. That's what it was. I previously said with Tom Carty, Tom was heavy-handed. You know, looks trying to set that big left hand up. But this kid, it was lightning fast. He had the footwork as well. You know, he was elusive. But yeah, his timing was spot on. But I think that's the difference when BT have paid him top money to turn professional, give him a really good deal. Nike have signed him to a long-term deal, so he's got it all. You know, there's no two ways about it. And we spoke after the fight, me and him. You know, I went to see him, and I just said, you know, I apologise. I said, look, I wanted to give you some rounds, and he even said himself. He says, I wanted the round. He said, I don't know why that got stopped. He even said it himself, basically. But I did say to him, you know, I says, you're going to be mentioned, if you keep going like you are, you're going to be mentioned up there with Lennox Lewis. You know, I think that's how good he's going to be. I mean, I don't think he's going to have the longevity that somebody like Lewis has, because he's turned pro so young and he's been sparred in these big names since age of 15. Physically, you've got to look at him physically as well. He's been a super heavyweight from age of 14 or 15. Yeah, but like I say, he's a freak of nature. You know, you see the training videos that he's been doing and stuff. Even at 16, there's videos and, you know, deadlifting over 300 kilo and stuff like that. which is just a stupid amount. Well, it's for anybody, but for someone at that age. But he's for his age now, he's maybe, you've got to think, how long will he go on for? I think he'll probably done everything he needs to do by the age of 30 anyway. It was a bit like Prince Nassim Ahmed, he turned pro so young, world champion at 21. He was done by the age of 28, but he had nearly 40 professional fights.
Mm.
I just like I say, I don't see him going on to like Lewis did, to his mid to late 30s. I think probably really he'll probably be done by 30, his early 30s tops probably, but he'll have done everything by then and have had a lot of fights anyway. But I think it will be between him, Jared Anderson, and Dubois, but yeah, but probably him and Jared Anderson, to be fair, they're the two that really stand out.
Mm. Yeah, so moving on to your fight in Bradford, on May the 4th, we said off camera that you've got an opponent, like an opponent's there, but you said you might well
Yeah,
change opponent.
yeah. So we were looking for opponents. Obviously, when you're boxing on home shows, you've got to sell the tickets, but you've got to cover your. This is what people don't understand. That's why you rely on ticket sales. You've got to cover your
Opponent's
opponent's wages.
purse.
Yeah. Also, you've got to cut the promoter as well, taking money off you and all. So once you've covered your opponent's purse, you normally have to put money into a pot as well, and then the promoters take 50% off you as well on top of that. So it's hard, but we've been looking at opponents, and we for 4 rounders, foreigners wanting £4,500. Do you know, for 4 rounds, we know it's madness. For that kind of money, you've got to be selling just to make four. And you say a ticket's 40 quid. You've got to be selling 125 tickets, 150 just to cover your opponent's money, and that's before you've
You
put any
even
money
step
into
in
the
the ring.
pot. You've got out, your trainers and managers have got out, and so yeah, you'd have to be looking at doing a stupid amount of tickets. So we've got a British opponent in, which obviously it's easier to do.
Which is on BoxRec as Brian
Yeah,
Lebone, who've you boxed before.
I boxed him before Ryan. That was his second fight. Now Ryan's a very good journeyman, is Ryan. He's really tricky, a lot better than what his record reads, and
100%.
he should have had a. Ryan's one of them. If Ryan wants to go and win, he'll win. If he just wants to go and last the round, he'll go and last the rounds.
I don't think he's been stopped, or maybe he's been stopped once, or
That Moses Jolly stopped him. Who I spoke to you about, the guy from Cardiff.
oh yeah.
He'd stopped him with a body shot, but I think Ryan, he had bad ribs at the time, so I've been told. But yeah, he's tricky as well. But he's another southpaw, so it'll be 3 southpaws if I box him that I've boxed in my last 4 fights. So
You get
ideally,
used to them now, mate.
well, yeah. Everyone says southpaws are awful, but I'm a southpaw myself. So yeah, we won't mind an orthodox fighter, to be honest with you. So we are having a look anyway, just seeing what we can get. But he's penciled in just in case.
I mean, you're on a bit of a knockout streak in your hometown at the moment, aren't you? You're 2 out of 2 knockouts in Bradford at them. Well, in your
That
last 2 fights in Bradford, you've got 2
that's
knockouts.
That's right, yeah. Stopped my last 2. So in my last 4 fights, every one of them has ended in a knockout. I've either been done myself or I've done them. So yeah, I suppose you can say it brings value for your money, kind of thing. So you never know what you're going to get.
Would
But
you
that's
ever
everyone.
rematch Lamar Griggs?
Yeah, I think. Well, I'd box anyone. If I think I've actually spoke to Lamar. So we speak a little bit on Instagram. He's been out for nearly a year. So
I
I
think he
don't really
might.
know.
Is he injured that he was saying?
Think he is, yeah. I mean, because that was a fight where I got a point deducted, which was a bit unlucky in that fight. I think I got a point deducted in the last round, and it cost me a draw on cards, did that. So, yeah, it'd be always nice to wipe the slate clean. But I'm one of them as well who's I'm looking. Like I said, these offers are coming in now for these big fights. So
Yeah, yeah.
you only need that one fight, and that one fight for me was Tom Carty. Everybody said, "Oh, you're going to get blasted out in 2 rounds," and obviously when I went them rounds with him, that's it's weird saying this, but if I'd have beat him,
Yeah,
the
you
best thing for
said
me,
that the opportunities would have gone like sort of down a bit in
well, if I'd have beat him, had to have a
a
basically,
rematch.
matchroom basically. I'd written in the contract that me and him had to have a rematch, and then I had to Johnny Fisher's name was thrown into it.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember you saying now. Yeah.
and so, but the money that I've got paid for Tom Carty and Moses were the same for them two. What would have been for them two fights, on a 2 fight deal with Matchroom. It were the same money, but I'm still a free agent. So I can go to any network. I can go to BT.
Yeah,
I
I
can
mean
go to Sky.
that's what you're doing because you've boxed on DAZN, TNT, soon to be
Next,
boxing in Sky
yeah,
in the summer,
yeah.
hopefully. And
Then I
yeah.
box on every major TV network. Then it's based like 8 months. So yeah, in
Hmm.
hindsight, the best thing was losing in that fight, but losing well, should I say, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though I got stopped. Like I say, I'm not going to read too much into this Moses stoppage. I went in there and not a scratch on me, and I come out with not a scratch on me.
Mm.
Got a great payday. I didn't really get slated by any commentators, even though it got stopped in first round. Most people were like, patting me on back for taking the fight, basically,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
standing my ground with him and taking the shots from him. So I did, like I say, in a few years' time, though, I'll probably look back and I can say, oh, yeah, I boxed him. Do you know what I mean? I think he's going to be one of them names. I think that's going to be up there. But I put a
100%.
post on my Instagram after the fight, you know, in space 4 months, or 3.5 to 4 months, I've boxed two guys who
You're rated
potentially
highly.
are going to win world titles in Tom Carty and Moses Itauma. Moses definitely will win world titles. So I'm I'm boxing now at well, this is it. It's big time boxing, really. Do you know?
Yeah, and the fight that you might have on Sky, you were saying that's a good fight as well that could
Yeah,
happen.
because we spoke to it about Steve Bunce was speaking to me about it. And
What about the fight that you could be
he
having?
put yeah, and he said it's a good fight for you. He said take it. So I spoke to my manager. I said 100%, I'll have it. And the thing with them is as well.
You could. It's a winnable fight in my opinion. This one.
Yeah, you could realistically spring an upset, and where you're getting notice as well because they're giving you notice. They're not springing you on it last minute either. So once you've got the notice and your frame of mind's right, which is a massive, massive thing in boxing, once your head's right and you've had that notice and the graft's been done, you've put the sparring in, you go into that ring full of confidence. And you can't look back and say, oh, I didn't do this right, I didn't do that right. And if that man beats you on that night, then you shake his hand, and say, look, yeah, you were the better man. You won. That's what I did with Tom. Uh, if I'd have had the notice with Moses, I've always said he would have still beat me. He could have beat me when he wanted because he's levels and levels above me. But it would have been, I think I should have been given the opportunity by the referee really to
Mm.
keep going because I wasn't in any kind of massive trouble. I've never been put down. The only person that's put me down ever, amateur or pro, is Tom Carty. So I feel like I've got a pretty decent chin, to be fair.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what I've put.
you have. Yeah. So you're fighting. You've got the one in May. You've got one in. I was gonna say June. Are you fighting in June?
We're looking to get out in June as well in Leeds, hopefully, and then we're back in Bradford in July. I think it's 20th of July.
Also, with space with one. You're going for 1 month. One fight, 1 month, mate. Basically.
That's it. Yeah. I don't think there's. apart from your journeymen, obviously, who fight every 2 to 4 weeks, I don't think at the moment really there's any active professional, especially in heavyweight division, who's as active as me.
Mm. And yeah, these big, and you'll see Dan on these TV shows, and also make sure you contact Dan for tickets in his local show as well. Yeah. And before I let you go, Dan, do you want to thank the usual people, your trainer, your manager, your sponsors, just anybody?
Yeah, say thanks to all my sponsors. You know, they know who they are. Always tag them in my posts, etc. You know, they're a big help. Like I say, biggest thanks really. I suppose I've got to give it to my manager as well. You know, for getting these opportunities, and just everybody really who buys tickets to come and support me, family and friends, etc. Because without them doing it, you know, we wouldn't be able to box and build the record up and get these kind of opportunities we're getting now. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't think these kind of opportunities had ever come around. Basically, I thought, is it too late now? You know, are you ever going to get it? But you never know when that phone's going to ring. You know, it proved it with the Moses fight. You know, that's biggest name in boxing. Well, prospect for me. And you know, for that to come
Yeah.
on 4 days' notice, you know, it'd have been. Don't get me wrong. I even I even says, you know, at the time to the matchmaker, who even says, my uncle were even saying it, why didn't you just pay him what he wanted and give him the notice? You would have saved yourself money. And I'd have gone in there prepared, you know, and it'd have been, and had a lot, it would have been more on even terms. Uh, but you can't regret anything. I
Is what
don't
it
regret
is.
taking it. Yeah, it is what it is. We move on and go again. That's finished now. That's in the past. Uh, Move on now, and we'll see what other opportunities come about.
Yeah, 100%, Dan. Yeah, thank you for your time today, and good luck on May the 4th, mate. All the best.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'll speak soon.
Thank you, mate. Bye.
Cheers.